Entering the atmosphere in T minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Omega Metroid podcast from OmegaMetroid.com. My name is Andy Spiteri, and I am joined today by my pals and yours, Doomino Crossing, Dakota Lasky. Gentlemen, the Switch 2 is finally here. A pretty unbelievable moment, actually. Like, it's felt like a long, turbulent road to get here, and like this really should have came out a couple of years ago, even before the turbulence, but we are finally here. What a moment. How are we doing today, guys?
Pretty good. I've been a little busier than I wanted to. I was hoping that I could get some more time off to really dig deep into this thing, but alas, I got some extra shifts scheduled, which, hey, more money for me, so I'm not complaining, but yeah, haven't quite gotten to tap into the Switch 2 as much as I wanted, but what I have tapped into, I mean, it's the Switch 2, it's everything I expected, but everything I expected is what I wanted, so I am a very happy camper right now.
Yeah, what's going on with you, Dak?
Oh, not too much. Yeah, I picked up my Switch 2 on Thursday. It's nice. I'm enjoying it. And it's been fun to put some time into it. I was able to play it a bunch. I actually took off on Thursday and Friday last week to play it a bunch. So specifically, pretty much for that reason, amongst others. So yeah, it's been cool. It's finally here, and it's exciting to have. So I've been enjoying it so far, and I'm looking forward to chatting about it a little bit.
I bet you, Dak, that you probably put in the most hours. Right before you hopped on, I was just telling Doom, like, I have barely had a chance to play any of my Switch 2, unfortunately. Like, my weekend was packed, my Thursday was no good, and my Friday was busy. So I probably had 5 hours, maybe tops, across a couple of different games, a couple of different apps that are on the Switch 2 right now, which I actually don't feel like is the worst thing ever. Like, I was kind of thinking, actually, in terms of like a console launch, and I don't know if you guys would agree with this or not, but like, I feel like this was a very matter-of-fact console launch. You know, like, I picked it up, aside from like the initial night where we were all trying to pre-order, and that was kind of a wild scene. Like, I picked up my Switch 2. There was no line. There was nothing crazy. I walked in, I walked out of GameStop in probably like 5 minutes on Thursday morning. I had originally somehow ordered a second Switch 2 on Best Buy. That was like shipped, and it came, and there was no hassle there. We had to go to Staples to pick it up. Like, that was easy. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of stories of people in the wild that really experienced like a turbulent pickup or like any kind of shortage. I don't know if you guys have heard any.
That was not my experience. What I've seen around here, man. I don't know. Maybe Canada's got it going. I mean, it wasn't horrible for me. At least on my end, I also got it from GameStop, and I had to wait like 2.5 hours at like 11 or 12 that afternoon on a line just to get my Switch 2.
Wow.
I also heard that there were some people in my area, in the Staten Island area, that had their Switch 2s ruined because the people working, or whoever did it, I guess some of the employees, like, they were stapling receipts to the box, and like, if you open up the Switch 2 box, the screen's right there. There's no protection, nothing, and they stapled the receipts through the box into the Switch 2 screens. And I'm not gonna judge anybody, you know, employees work hard at these retail stores and things happen, but I know that ruined it a lot. Ruined it for a lot of people, and yeah, I wish I had a smooth. That's what I thought was going to happen for me, Andy. I thought I dodged the midnight release. I didn't show up right at store open. I was like, I'm going to show up a few hours later on the day of, walk in, get my console, walk out. It could have been a little smoother than that, but I mean, at the end of the day, I still ended up getting my Switch at a pretty reasonable time. So yeah, I mean, I guess it was a little matter of fact. I feel like that's more because there was only like one big game coming out for the system, like at release, and that's how I feel like it kind of feels like that to me. But yeah, it could have been worse. I didn't do the midnight release, but I was happy to have my Switch at a pretty reasonable time after it launched.
How was your experience,
Yeah, I was gonna say for myself, I wouldn't. I don't know if smooth is the right word. It sounds like you had the smoothest experience with no lines. I
Yeah, I
definitely had a
guess.
line. I definitely had a line. I wouldn't consider it a bad experience though by any means. In fact, because I've only the Wii, the Xbox Series X, and now the Switch 2 are the only day one consoles that I've gotten. And with the Wii, I didn't get a pre-order in there. I was like 12 at that time. So yeah, I didn't get a pre-order in, but my mom and we did camp out at Target overnight for that, and we managed to get one. The Series X, I ordered that online from Microsoft Store, but because of the supply chain shortage, this was like in the heat of the pandemic in 2020. It was like a month delayed until it was finally able to be shipped. So all things considered, this wasn't too bad. Basically, so I pre-ordered my Switch from Target, and then my roommate pre-ordered his from Best Buy. But my Target order was a couple days late, and so my roommate decided, like, hey, I don't need the Switch day one. You want to take my Best Buy pre-order, and then I'll take your Target pre-order. And so we basically swapped. We went over to the Best Buy midnight launch. Technically, it's a 9 p.m. launch for us in California.
Yeah.
But the line was about an hour long, but we got the Switch. We walked out. We even found a display in the dumpster and took that home with us too. So I'd consider it a success.
That's the real prize. That's
Yeah,
the real
honestly.
treasure, I think.
Exactly.
I remember I've asked like a bunch of times for displays, and every time the GameStop people are like, "No way," probably because they want to take it for themselves, which I don't blame them for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I posted some pictures about it on the Discord if you want to check it out. It's a little like a kind of a Mario ensemble little display they got going there. They put it on like those concrete pillars out front by the door.
Right. Yeah. I guess it like for me it was pretty seamless. I chose not to go to like the midnight release, and probably like to your point, Dak. Like for me, I was and I know Doom. This Mario Kart World is kind of your Breath of the Wild, but for a lot of other people, I think in my circle, it was kind of like we all like. I really like Mario Kart. I'm having a really fun time with it, but it wasn't like the killer app necessarily on day one. So I did feel like there was a little bit less pressure in order to get that. One thing that I was a little bit bummed out with is that the new Zelda amiibo were all gone. I would have been a total sucker and bought like $150 worth of them if they were there.
I was just gonna say I wouldn't even limit that to your circle necessarily. I feel like that's kind of the general consensus. It's like, hey, Mario Kart's really cool, but it's not that big, meaty, life-changing single-player adventure that Breath of the Wild was.
Yeah. And not a lot of games are, to be honest. Like, Breath of the Wild is one of a kind. Like, I don't think that if this Switch 2 had launched with Donkey Kong Bonanza, that narrative would be necessarily a whole lot different.
It's kind of crazy to me that they didn't. I could have sworn that Bonanza was launching at the same time as Mario Kart World at launch. I felt like that was a no-brainer to do both of them because I feel like people would have gotten both, and it felt like it kind of needs that. I guess I would have because I ended up getting some trade-in credit for free because I traded in a couple of games when I went in. They're like, you get this pre-order money for free. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll get the DK game, whatever. Yeah, it felt like it was a little surprising to me that DK is actually a month out, but I don't know. Nintendo always has weird launch lineups.
I think it makes sense to space everything out. You want consistent drops because I feel like that Switch, the thing that made that Switch 1 launch, so memorable. It wasn't launch day because really all you had was Breath of the Wild. It was how strategically everything was spaced out. You had Breath of the Wild, then you had 8 Deluxe, then you had ARMS, Splatoon 2.
Can't forget about ARMS. Yeah, the big heavy hitter known as ARMS.
But like it literally was Splatoon, Xenoblade, Mario Rabbids, Mario Odyssey. Like it was like a who's who of like title after
Pokken
title.
Tournament, yeah.
Pokken Tournament and ARMS. And Bomberman. We can't forget Bomberman. The shout out to the one guy in line with me, just buying Bomberman that morning. So. Like I don't feel like there was like a similar like big game. Like Mario Kart's just like one of those things that like eventually like everybody's just probably gonna get. So like I don't think that there was like urgency there, but and also just because Mario Kart didn't have like the same kind of build up obviously that Breath of the Wild had or anything like that, but or even like Twilight Princess back on the Wii or anything like that. But yeah, I for me I don't know, I thought it was a pretty overall successful console launch, at least in terms of like Nintendo making sure that there wasn't like a ton of demand that wasn't met. I just posted I was gonna sell my other Switch 2 to a buddy, and that kind of fell through. So I was like, hey, does anybody want this? And like it took a while for someone to respond to me saying yes.
I wish now that the launch is coming, I mean, not coming, God, I guess it's only been less than a week, but now that, like the first few days, I want to play Metroid Prime 4. I feel like that's what I'm missing, like you're saying, like that single player
Yeah.
experience, and like, oh, how great would it be right now if Metroid Prime 4 was out? I don't think that like people are gonna get Mario Kart one way or another, but man, if how sick would it be if Metroid Prime 4 was also right available right at launch and people could be like, oh, I'll pick that up too. Like, I don't know.
Would've been
I
good.
wish I wish we had seen it. I'm itching for it now that I've have the Switch 2. I'm itching to play Metroid Prime 4, and it's a shame that we don't even know what's coming out still. And it's June.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we don't wait much longer. But let's talk about the console itself here, guys, just for a quick sec. Like, so for me, I had a day one Switch. So like this thing has like the OG crappy battery. The screen is just like, smeared with everything you could imagine. Like the Joy-Cons barely stick on, and the drift, ever since we finished the marathon, like the Joy-Cons are unusable because of the drift. So for me, man, I cannot tell you how opening this and like seeing, number one, how much bigger this Switch 2 was, how much sturdier it was. That was like so awesome. I really think that the new Joy-Cons, the way that they clip in, are like a big improvement. And the most underrated part, or maybe not underrated, but the part that I was like, this is so awesome that I wasn't expecting to be, was that little kickstand, the adjustable kickstand that was there. I didn't think that would be like a big feature for me, but man, compared to that little flimsy stick on the Switch 1, this thing is killer. Like it really is a good feature.
It's kind of like, at least to me, like kind of like how the Wii U feels almost like a prototype of the Switch 1. The Switch 1 feels like a cheap knockoff prototype of the Switch 2. Like, this is what the Switch should have been. Like, when you go in back and you hold the Switch 1 in your hands, like, this is nothing compared to the beefier yet lighter and sturdier and more high quality parts of the Switch 2.
Yeah.
The bigger, especially for my big hands, you can see on camera, like the slot, like you said, the kickstand, the quality of the screen, how the magnetic clip in for the Joy-Cons. It's all, I mean, hardware wise, the Switch 2 clears the Switch 1, and it does feel like a very welcome, I mean, to me it's a very welcome update. Like, just it almost feels like I'm not even that concerned about there not being a ton of like new games for the Switch 2, because I'm like, this is just like such a good console upgrade that I'm happy just to play my old Switch 1 games on it. And I have been actually enjoying my old Switch 1 games on the Switch 2. Like, this clears whatever the Switch 1 was. It's so much nicer, it looks so much nicer. Huh?
What have you been playing?
So obviously I've been playing Mario Kart, but in terms of the older games, I was dipping back into Super Mario All Stars, 3D All Stars. So I've been playing Super Mario Sunshine. It looks great and runs great on the system. I also played some Smash Ultimate. I mean, the loading times are non-existent compared to, I've been playing Ultimate since whenever it came out, 2018, right? It's been almost 7 years, right? Like, the loading screens of that game on the Switch 1 are atrocious, and on the Switch 2, I mean, it's like rapid fire. Like, you can get back into a game so quickly. It's so nice. It's like what you think the Switch 1 should have been. Like, this is how it should have already been operating. So now it's nice that it is. But I've been playing Sunshine, even on handheld mode. It looks gorgeous. It looks great, and it's so nice to have right in front of my face. Also on the screen looks good. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of Sunshine. That's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense because, the Switch 1 was very much rushed to market. Nintendo was trying to abandon the Wii U as fast as humanly possible, and you could definitely see where the corners were cut on that first one. This definitely feels like a lot more time and care and QA was taken into account for the Switch 2, and, like, it really shows, like, the second you take it out of the box. Like, I still, you know me, I'm not a handheld guy, but I just love taking apart the Joy-Cons and putting them back in. There's something about that that's just, like, really satisfying to do. Like, it has a nice satisfying click, and then it locks into place, like, more than you think it would. Like, it's a really effective solution.
People
there.
Are
I even
their
tried
fingers on these Joy-Cons. Like, they're tough.
And then I even tried a little bit of the mouse mode. I will say, so the Switch 1 Joy-Cons are pretty uncomfortable for me. Just holding the Switch 2 Joy-Cons, like, standardized, actually, like, I think they're pretty comfortable in my hands this time, so I might start utilizing the Joy-Cons a bit more. Mouse mode I didn't think was super comfortable, but I am considering getting those GameStop like little mouse grip add-ons and seeing if that makes a difference.
I'm definitely going to do that. I really just haven't had like a need to use the mouse mode. Like I played around with it a little bit. I'm like, oh yep, that works. That's super cool. Like it's fun going through the menu. Yeah, they're totally not ergonomical for long periods of time in mouse mode. I'm definitely gonna get the accessory you just mentioned. I also heard, I don't know if this is confirmed, I haven't tried it, but you can just plug in a USB mouse into the system when it's docked, and I think it works.
Really?
There's at least one game I can't remember.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like a system-wide thing.
It's a third-party game that confirmed that you can use a regular mouse. The only thing with the mouse is that you're limited to the buttons on the mouse. I think with something like Metroid Prime 4 that still utilizes a few of those buttons, I'm not sure if that would work for that.
I mean, if you're someone like me or like my roommate Pat who has like MMO mouses or whatever that have like all the buttons on the sides, like that's not a big deal because you still have the Joy-Con to do the other stuff. Yeah, but no, I will definitely be getting the attachment for that because the mouse mode is cool, but that's again. I wish I had a little bit of Metroid Prime. I guess maybe I'll pick up Civ 7 or Civ 6, whatever it is, because that was fun on mouse mode. I was almost looking like, can I play Mario Kart in mouse mode? Like, can I do that? But I haven't tried it.
I think we'll have to wait for like for lack of a better term, like the tech demo games to really come out in order to utilize it. And maybe that one, the Welcome Tour game, maybe it does do that. I to be honest, I've actually not heard like super spectacular things about that game, and I don't expect that a whole lot of people listening to this have tried that out. But I think like I'd be shocked if like there wasn't in like the next Zelda game, for example, like something that really took advantage of mouse mode. Kind of like how the games tried to incorporate like the Wii U gamepad or whatever into their into their gameplay. But yeah, I actually haven't had a chance to try mouse mode. I have not had a chance to try game chat yet either, although I did register and agree to Nintendo's terms and conditions. That being said, I haven't played any online either, so I haven't really seen what that infrastructure is like. Have you guys had a chance to test out game chat or online or anything like that?
No, so I haven't tried out game chat yet. It's really weird because I really didn't have much interest in it, and a lot of other people in my circle who I follow didn't have any either. But I know a few who did try it, and the second they tried it, their minds were completely changed. They're like, wait a minute, this is actually low-key kind of a killer feature, and that more people need to try it out. So I'm trying to find an excuse to get some people together to try it out and see what all the fuss is. But like I want to be convinced too.
How about maybe later this week, Doom, a little bit of Mario Kart 3. It's Spiteri versus Crossing versus Lasky. Game chat it up.
I'm totally down.
Yeah.
I'm definitely down. I didn't buy the $40 480p Piranha Plant camera, admittedly. But
sorry,
yeah,
you can't game with us then. Sorry.
I suppose I can. Maybe I can play somehow else. But I did see
you can connect your standard USB camera into the Switch 2 as well. Because I also didn't purchase the camera, so yeah.
Thank God.
Do you have to have a camera for like that to work?
I'm not sure. I do know that like there's a ton of like you can use the iToy of all things on the Switch 2 and it works.
I have a confession. I didn't buy that Piranha Plant camera either, unfortunately. So maybe I'll use my work camera. I don't know. But yeah, I'd be down to try that and see.
It does look kind of funny. I've seen like some gameplay where like when people drive by you in Mario Kart, you can like kind of like they showed off in the direct. You can see their face and like reacting and whatever. Like that's fun. I think it's more for like. I mean, it's definitely more for kids, right? Like where the parents know like okay, they're not on Discord and some weird server or something like that. Like they're in a game chat with their friends, and the kids can like make funny faces as they drive it. Not that adults can't have fun with it too, but I could see that appeal for it, and could be a fun little accessory for the family and whatnot. Especially like if you're like a family playing together in different places, cool to see their faces. I don't know. It looks silly, it looks fun, very Nintendo-y. But I've only just played and very little of just straight up like online Mario Kart, so I can't speak to like the infrastructure beyond that.
I think there's got to be a game akin to like 1-2 Switch coming out. That's really going to have like a bunch of mini games that really show off like the mouse controls, the camera. I'm surprised that game actually didn't launch with everything.
I think that's the Mario Party Jamboree DLC.
I was going to say that's the Jamboree.
Okay.
That's Jamboree because there are a bunch of mini games they added that are specifically for mouse mode. in that game. So I think that's where you're going to find that.
Yeah, a good point. I'll be honest. I like feel like I completely forgot about Jamboree. Probably because it's a Switch game, but it's kind of like a
Yeah, it's a Switch game.
upgraded Switch 2, somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah.
So has anybody played online, anything like that? Anybody tested out the servers or nothing like that?
I think
Yeah.
that's just Dak.
I was gonna say I played some Mario Kart World online. I haven't played a ton online because I was trying to like triple star everything in single player mode first. But yeah, I mean, what I played online, I can't really like. It seems fine. It seems okay. I didn't have any issues that I didn't have on the Switch One, and
Okay.
it didn't necessarily feel like substantially better or worse. It seems pretty much the same in terms of the quality of the internet and how it's set up. So I can't really report back any like huge findings on it. It seems pretty standard. I think in the case of like Smash Ultimate, it doesn't improve like input lag or anything like that. Like the loading screens are faster, but it's not like it doesn't improve like the quality of the online play in that regard.
I see.
So nothing really to report in terms of hugely positive or negative. Seems pretty similar to the Switch One.
I do have something that I want to critique on the Nintendo Switch 2. If you guys will indulge me here. I was hoping that this would be vastly improved, and it is improved, but not improved enough for me. And that is the eShop. One of the very first things that I did was I fired up the eShop, and I want to give some credit where credit is due. The loading time is like 1,000,000% better. Like I think we've all been on the eShop and like you're scrolling down and it chugs and it takes forever to load the next row of games, and then it does the same thing again. It's not a great experience. So I will give credit that is vastly improved, and I'm also going to give credit to because they kind of have a thing like Steam has now, where it's like here are 10 games that we recommend you based on your like preferences or whatever. That aside, though, like I think it's absolutely like borderline unforgivable that in 2025 there's not like Netflix categories where it's like here's your action games, here's your puzzle games, here's your first person shooters, or like even on the Wii U like virtual console you were like here you want to play Legend of Zelda games, here's all the Zelda games, here's all the Pokemon games. Like the eShop is still just like a complete like dog's breakfast right now. And not only that, but like the same problem that exists on the Switch like clearly exists on the Switch 2 as well, because if you were to go and look on the eShop, like probably in the first 50 games that you see, there are a good like 4 to 5, maybe even more, that are like AI generated hentai games, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like, who is?
Where are
is
those so I can avoid them?
Yeah,
where are those? I can avoid.
Don't worry,
those.
I've got the titles written down. But no, I mean, it's just outrageous. Like, and this is probably a side tangent and side topic, but like the amount of stuff and the amount of like garbage that is allowed to be in that eShop is just like unforgivable is the word I'm going to stick with, because like there's so many games that AI is making these games, and if you can tell, but if you're like a parent or a younger kid, you probably have no idea, and it's just like there's got to be some sort of quality control. Like these games do not have the official Nintendo seal of quality on them, I'll tell you that. So the eShop needs to be improved, I would say.
That's a fair critique. I guess for me, because I don't really use the eShop to search for games, I kind of do that like online in different websites. By the time I get on the eShop, I already know what I'm gonna get, and so it being faster alone is already like everything that I needed to be. That being said, I think everything you said is completely valid, totally fair, and I think you're right that there really isn't an excuse that a billion-dollar corporation like Nintendo can't get something fairly simple like correct after all these years.
I think for me, I agree with that on the eShop, though admittedly I haven't really used it on the Switch 2, aside from opening it and scrolling around. I'm like, oh, all right, that's the eShop. It's the same. And I think that's probably my big thing with the Switch 2 is it, in a lot of ways, feels sometimes a little bit too samey to the Switch 1 in terms of, like, the menus. Like, I don't know. I get it. It's, like, themes, and it's not a big deal. I'm not losing sleep over it, but, like, and, like, it has quirky little sounds, but I just wish there was a little bit more, like, character and like fun to like the menu, and like I don't know, it feels so corporatized and like just like pumped out of a factory, like here you go, here's the menu, like not, they're still doing, like I hated with the Switch 1 how so many games like even Odyssey or like Zelda had like that like black and white monotone like menu theme that they did, which like I guess for them like was very clean and slick, but like I don't want that from Nintendo. I want it to be like soft and curved edges and fun and whimsical, and I don't know, I feel like I booted up my Switch 2 and it's the exact same menu as the Switch One. I'm like, all right, I guess that's cool. I have similar complaints with Mario Kart World, but I'll get into that later. But I wish it had a little bit more character of its own. I guess it's fine, and like I love that the Switch 2 is just like a straight up upgrade of the Switch 1, and it's not trying to do some crazy new gimmick that like makes it totally different. But I still wish there was a little bit more attempts to make it stand out on its own when you turn it on or something like that. Just a little bit. Like even like the news page looks exactly the same. Like, oh, you could have like, I guess it doesn't make a difference for them. It doesn't make them more money to change it up, but it does feel like it's lost a little bit of that like Nintendo like whimsy to it in some ways with a Switch 1, and it still hasn't kind of like reclaimed that in the Switch 2, which is whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I
It's
mean,
one of those things
not
where
the
it
end of the
doesn't
world, you're
it
right,
doesn't
but-
it doesn't affect your experience, but it stays in your mind. I definitely feel you there.
Yeah, it's not detrimental, but I think it does affect it a little bit, because I mean certainly I'm talking about it right now, but I wish there was a little bit more to it, both in terms of like reclaiming that old Nintendo-iness, but also maybe being a little bit more differentiated from the Switch 1.
Well, the other thing too is like it just feels weird that it's stuff that we've seen before that is not being featured anymore. Like the 3DS had like all these crazy custom like themes and menus and stuff like that that you could have, and like I'd be honest with you, like I probably would just leave mine black. Like I don't want a bunch of stuff floating in the background, but I know that lots of people would really like it. So like, why not? Why not? Especially if you're having like NSO rewards for your little like your Switch icon or whatever, right? Like you can get the limited time ones or whatever. Like they just had all the consoles and stuff like that. Like make it a theme. I don't know. I
agree.
Yeah.
They have like my Nintendo rewards. Like, why can't I get a cool theme for my Switch 2 off the website or something like that? I don't know.
All right. So that was pretty much my thoughts on the console. I don't know if you guys have anything that you want to add before we start talking about games here.
Unless you do, Doom.
Not really. I just wanted to bring up a quick theme that Shine Sparkers wrote about the loading times for Dread and Prime Remastered, but that's kind of game related, so we can wait to do that.
Sure.
I was gonna say personally, one of the things that I've always loved about Nintendo stuff is like the backwards compatibility, and I'm very happy that like Switch 2, takes that and runs with it. I can still use my old controllers for the Switch 1. I didn't even buy a Pro controller for the Switch 2. I'm using my Pro controller from the Switch 1. I can, bump in, plug in, tap in, whatever, insert my Switch 1 cartridges, no problem. They boot up instantly. They look great. That I really appreciate, because I feel like there was a time in Nintendo's history where like backwards compatibility was like taken for granted or almost non-existent. But for me growing up, I grew up with, the Game Boy Advance being able to play old Game Boy games, and the DS being able to play Game Boy Advance games, and the Wii being able to play GameCube games, and all my old stuff working with that, right? And it kind of like gives you a little bit of like a little bit of an advantage, or like a bonus for like being a loyal Nintendo fan. Like all this stuff that you've accumulated, all this plastic nonsense and garbage still works when you buy a new system, and that was very nice. And I like that, there was no, even like the transfer of data from my Switch 1 to the Switch 2 was super easy, super seamless. Transferring my account over from Switch 1 to Switch 2, super easy, super seamless. I think maybe I saw a couple posts with some people having some issues, but like, at least for me, I didn't have any issues. So I do really appreciate that, because it was nice to like, the transition was very smooth and seamless, and not a headache. And that was great, because it was like, oh, I can just start playing Mario Kart with the same Pro controller I was just playing Mario Kart 8 with. I can plug in all my old Switch 1 games as if it was a Switch 1, and now it's a Switch 2. That's nice, and that's especially these days where like player forward features, right? Things that are just like maybe not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure this makes Nintendo money in some way, but like things that don't outwardly aren't sold to you, but are still nice for the consumer to have. Like I think that stuff, is taken for granted, and you don't see it as much anymore these days. So it was nice. It was nice to have that. Like just no big deal. Can use all my old stuff, and it works really well. If it in some cases works even better than it's on the Switch One. So that was really cool.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that, and I think especially because with Nintendo, it always feels like there's a monkey paw, an asterisk, some sort of but there really isn't anything like that for the Switch 2. Like you said, it's shockingly simple, which is something I certainly don't take granted for Nintendo. But yeah, as long as you have a Nintendo account, you just transfer all that. I was able to transfer all my games in like less than 5 minutes, and yeah, it boots up immediately on the Switch 2, and it's ready to go. My only other slight critique, and you brought up the Pro controller, so I did want to bring it up. You can't turn the Switch 2 on with the Switch 1 Pro controller. You need either the Switch 2 Joy-Cons or the Switch 2 Pro controller to do that. Not a big deal in my case because I can literally reach my Switch 2 over here behind my monitor right now. But like, if I feel like most people are going to be playing this in a living room setting, and so if you are using that Switch 1 Pro controller, you're going to have to get up off your chair and actually
you have to get off your hiney and stand up.
Yeah.
God forbid.
The joys of playing handheld here, guys.
I honestly didn't even know that because even when I'm playing with when it docked, I always just hit the button and turn it on. So I guess that's good to know, I suppose.
I just read something wild. Actually, I was scrolling Blue Sky like half an hour ago, and like apparently if you're transferring pictures, you can only there's the 2 slots, which I love, by the way, the 2 USB-C slots on the top and the bottom, but only the bottom works if you're going to transfer pictures. So there you go.
So you can also, well, I was going to say, so what I've been doing for my pictures and videos is I've just, there's a feature now to where you can send all of that to the Nintendo app, and then through the Nintendo app, you can actually download it to your phone. And so that's what I've been doing to post all my pictures and videos to my Blue Sky and Discord and all that. And even that alone is so much better than like all the QR code hoops that you had to jump through on the Switch 1. So much better.
Who said that Nintendo app was dumb? Come on.
I probably did.
Hey, we said Nintendo today was dumb, and I stand by that. But the Nintendo app is.
I'm sure we're all on record just being like, God damn, this app is stupid.
Yeah, but the actual Nintendo app, they actually updated it with some pretty nice Switch 2 features, and I ended up putting it on one of my screens rather than on my scroll list. So
there you go. I did have one difficulty. I took my SD card out of my Switch, and my Switch 2 would not recognize it, which is
you got to use like a specific micro express SD card made for the Switch 2 or something.
Which is like actually fine because like as far as I know, like all your save data is on the cloud, right?
As long as you have a Nintendo Online membership, it's on the cloud, except for like I want to say Splatoon 2, Animal Crossing, and some very specific games are not. But even if it's not on the SD card, like if it's attached to your account, they'll still be able to transfer all that over.
Yeah. So that was my only, and if there was save data stuck on my SD card, now I have to just transfer it to my Switch and transfer it over. But even that was like, you're right, like it wasn't that big of a deal. All right, let's talk about some games here. Now a lot of what I have been playing is Mario Kart, and maybe we'll save that for last so we can talk about some other stuff that we've kind of tinkered around with on the Switch too. The very first thing, the first game that I played on my new Nintendo Switch 2 in handheld mode, and this game looked absolutely gorgeous, was F-Zero GX. This game looked so great. It goes so fast. I haven't played it since COVID, and I was just like, God damn, this game is so awesome. This is a game that I firmly believe that they could and maybe even should have sold as like a Paper Mario 1000 Year Door style kind of game. But I have to imagine like way more people are experiencing it on the Switch too, so I'm very happy about that. I've played like 5 minutes of Wind Waker, which looks also great. Haven't dipped into Soul Calibur 2 yet, but very impressed with the Nintendo GameCube app. And I haven't had a chance to play any Switch 1 games yet, but I am going to be taking Breath of the Wild for a whirl here later this week.
Yeah, I wanted to try out the GameCube games before we started recording. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the time to set something up. Because especially what I really wanted to do is I wanted to play some Soul Calibur 2 with my roommate, but we haven't gotten that arranged yet. So maybe next time.
Does that have online, Soul Calibur 2? Can we play that against each other online?
Theoretically, yeah, I think so. Because yeah, it's got local multiplayer, and that's how the online works on the app. Is it
We
kind
gotta
of
get that
emulates?
going too.
That would be
Soul
fun.
Calibur too.
That would be good. I
Yeah,
remember
but,
having that game. I didn't know how to play, but I could just mash buttons and still do pretty decently.
Probably
That was
what I'm
like-
going to be doing myself.
Yes.
That was probably, I think, I mean, Smash is like a platform fighter. But in terms of a traditional fighting game, actually, I mean, that was the first traditional fighting game I think I had, like, that I owned, like, on a console. Like, I had played other ones in arcades, but that
GameCube
was,
version?
I think, oh, yeah, of course, the
Yeah.
GameCube version. Yeah, so I had Link and whatnot. But my friend had the PlayStation version. I think that was what Heihachi was
Yeah.
was the yeah, and I think Xbox had what
Spawn.
was his name? Spawn, yes.
Spawn,
So that was cool. But I had the GameCube version, yes. But that was like my first 3D traditional fighting game that I owned myself, if I remember correctly, aside from Smash. Way back when.
You'll appreciate this, Dak. I was trying to remember like the name of the Tekken guy. We were talking about this on the Zelda cast, and I was like, Heidenreich? Is that his name?
Heidenreich? That does sound like a Tekken character, though. I don't
Kind of, right? I was like, I think it might be that guy. But maybe he's a wrestler also. I don't know. But yes, Hitachi? Is that his name?
Heihachi?
I remember feeling bad for not that bad for the PlayStation guys, because they were just like crushing everyone else, but like they definitely got the short straw in terms of characters.
He's a pretty cool character. Like back then, like if you're a big Tekken fan, I'm sure that was hype, but it wasn't as hype as Link for sure, or Spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely want to play that. That'll be fun. F-Zero looks good. What's the other one that's out right now? Wind Waker. I'm personally waiting for Strikers and the 2 Pokemon GameCube games to drop, because those I'm very, very pumped to play. I love Super Mario Strikers, and I love Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness. I'll be looking forward to playing those. But like I mentioned, I played 3D All-Stars. I've been playing Super Mario Sunshine, which is so good, and I love Super Mario Sunshine, and I'm like, this game is amazing. This game is just so good, and it looks great. It runs so smoothly. It's like one of those scenarios where it's like, that's what I remember it looking like when I played it as a kid, right?
Yeah.
And I was playing it here on my Pro Controller, playing it at my desk. I've been playing it in bed on the handheld mode. It looks superb. I'm very much enjoying that. And then I played some Smash Ultimate, like I mentioned. The loading times are just choice. So good.
Hell yeah.
The perfect time for Sunshine. Summer's coming up real soon. It's got literally
It's been
built
raining
off those
here
summer
all the
vibes.
time, man. It's been raining here for the past month and a half. It's been like constant rain like every weekend here. So I needed a little bit of sunshine in my life.
Okay.
I wish it was raining over here. It's been like between 90 and 110 over here in California.
What have you been playing, Doom? Anything besides like Mario Kart?
Just Mario Kart.
Just
Well, I
Mario
did
Kart.
so not on the Switch 2, but I did finally finish Doom: The Dark Ages. I wanted to make sure that I got that done before I started my Switch 2 madness. Got all the achievements, platinumed it, beat it on Ultra Violence. I'll probably do an Ultra Nightmare playthrough months down the line once I've gotten all this Switch 2 adrenaline out of my system. But Doom: The Dark Ages, fantastic game. Of the games I played so far, definitely my game of the year.
Okay, nice. Well, let's not beat around the bush anymore, Doom. I know you have a lot to say about Mario Kart World. I've been having like a lot of fun with Mario Kart. I will say, to me, like it kind of Mario Kart is Mario Kart for me. So like there's not a drastic difference between the bunch, but this one I will say like I've really been just enjoying like schmucking around in free roam mode. That's pretty much like most of what I've done, to be honest with you, is just kind of like driving around unlocking people's like alternate skins and stuff like that. And yeah, just kind of having like a good time, just kind of driving around. I've only done 3 cups right now. I did do a what do they call it? Like the elimination race or the
knockout tour.
knockout race.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I'm really having a good time with it. It feels like very familiar, which is really nice. And it kind of has some of those qualities that I've always really loved about like Diddy Kong Racing, where you can fly, you can swim, you can drive, you can kind of explore. So I'm having a good time so far.
I'm really enjoying it so far. I definitely have a lot of critiques though. I definitely, at least at this time, definitely prefer Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But those some of those stuff I think can be ironed out in future updates. But I definitely have a lot of mixed feelings. But at the end of the day, overall, I think it's still a great game.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, man. I think I'm enjoying it to an extent. Look, I spent I spent like almost the whole month of May playing like 2 or 3 hours of Mario Kart 8 like deluxe on the Switch One like a day. Um, and then going in from that to Mario Kart World, it's definitely a different type of Mario Kart game. So I'm not gonna say that it's bad or worse or downgrade, but it's not. I'm not enjoying it as much as I did Mario Kart 8. To me, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is like almost like the perfect Mario Kart game in terms of like the gameplay, the tracks, the roster, all of that kind of stuff. Like it has pretty much everything. Obviously, it's not like the item. There can be some item like sandbagging shenanigans, fine. But aside from that, it's like the perfect game and it's very enjoyable. Mario Kart World is you got to play it a little differently. It does play differently. I would say in terms of like presentation, Mario Kart World like clears. It looks gorgeous. It looks really good. The soundtrack, phenomenal. Um, in terms of the actual gameplay, I don't know. It didn't like my first 2 days of a couple days of playing it. I wasn't like hooked. I wasn't like, oh, this is the sickest thing since sliced bread. It was okay. I wish it blew me away a bit more than it has. I'm not super sold on it just yet.
And I
Yeah,
think
so
that's my advantage here. Is sorry, Doom. Just like my advantage is like Mario Kart is not necessarily near and dear to me. So like all I kind of want is just like a fun 15, 20 minutes or something like that. And I think free roam like does that for me, where I can just like drive around and schmuck around or whatever. I will say it seemed to me that there was a little bit less like items than in past games. I don't know if that's true or not. That was the only thing that I really kind of noticed. And I do think it would be kind of cool if you could do some of that like free roam stuff like in races a little bit more, like go off track just like a little bit more. I think it would be fun.
I at least for me, like what I love, I mean, it's hard to go from like Mario Kart 8 with the booster packs, like amount of content, and go to Mario Kart World where I'm like, oh, I miss all of these tracks that I've come to love in Mario Kart 8, and I'm like, I can't even race on them. And then you go into Mario Kart World's tracks. At least for me, they are not as great as the 8 track design. So many tracks have these like really long straightaways, both in like knockout tour and just the regular races. And I think like maybe I haven't mastered the game yet and I have to like really tap into how it's supposed to be played, like looking for more drafting opportunities and grinding on rails and wall jumping and all that. But like I don't know, it's not as engaging to me as like drifting and precise like turn taking and that kind of stuff. Um, Even like the rail grinding thing isn't very compelling to me because once you're on the rail, like you're not steering anymore, and so you're going on the rail until you jump off of it. I've seen some really cool clips online. Well, they're cool because like I see people doing these crazy like jumping off rails and going on the walls and going on parts of the track like sides and bottoms of the track and like hitting trees and getting cool tricks off of them that look cool. But it's not like really racing to me. It just kind of it's not my kind of Mario Kart that I've enjoyed. So that I'm not like super thrilled about. I really don't like the new Grand Prix style either, where like you go on like one long straight, like you go on a track for maybe a lap and then you're on like a straightaway and then another lap of a track and then you only go on like the last 3 laps of a thing, at the end. Like that I'm not really a huge fan of. Knockout tour is cool, but it's like a cluster F for the first few sectors. It's pretty much entirely luck based, like good luck. Which like again, it's Mario Kart. Like I'm not. I like that Mario Kart 8 had a little bit more of like your driving skill weighs a little bit more than like, oh, it's just funny party game items, blah blah blah. But the game's still young. Like I'm sure there's gonna be a lot more to like tap into and unlock and have fun with. I really like free roam. That's fun. I wish there was a little bit more going on with it. It'd be cool if there were like bosses going around you could fight, or like the missions were a little bit deeper. I wish you could talk to NPCs. But there's some really cool interactions in that. Yeah, there's just I don't know. The gameplay right now is not clicking for me, which is a little unfortunate because I was very hyped for the game, and now that I'm playing it, I'm like, it's cool, but like I miss Mario Kart 8. Maybe time will improve it.
What you think, Doom?
I have a whole document here meticulously organized with like everything that I have to say about it. So I guess since we're talking about like kind of the mechanics and the modes, I'll just go over to those sections right now. But basically, so first off, I just want to get this one out of the way first. And I ranted about this pretty hard on the Discord, but I gotta say it again. No 200cc at launch is absolutely inexcusable and egregious, especially if you're charging $80 for this game. I know none of us paid $80 for it. We got the bundle, but I don't care if it comes in an update down the line. That's just inexcusable to me. 200cc is one of several reasons why 8 Deluxe is my favorite in the series, and so not having that as part of the main package at launch already puts that at a severe disadvantage for me. I actually really do like the rail grinding and the wall riding. I think that stuff is awesome. I'm really bad at it right now. Once I started to do the time trials and really start to like lab together all the different paths and stuff like that, I'll probably improve at it. And it's something I want to improve because like looking at all the stuff that people are doing online, it's like inspiring me. It's like, ooh, that looks awesome. Like I really want to do that. It's kind of like Tony Hawk meets Mario Kart, and especially with the remakes coming out next month, I'm very much feeling that Tony Hawk.
It does have a Tony Hawk vibe to it. I don't know if I don't know if I like it, but I do get that vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, I don't feel like one really overwrites the other. Like it feels like a nice healthy match of the two. But I really love the technicality, and it's a very big, like there's a very large skill ceiling. It's not something that like a child isn't just going to jump into Mario Kart and all of a sudden just master the rail grinding and the wall running day one. Like no, that takes lots of practice and watching and stuff like that. So I really love that. Really love that there's a high skill ceiling there. The last thing I really have to say about game mechanics right now, and this is somewhat of a minor critique. I don't think most people are going to care about this, but I do. I don't like that items are automatically dragged behind you anymore. At first, when this happened, I actually thought this was like a new kind of like whatchamacallit, an accessibility feature, kind of like the auto steering or something like that. And so I was looking for like a way like, oh, how do I turn that off so that I can, hoard my defensive items when I'm in first place? Well, it just turns out that's just not an option. Everyone has to drag their items automatically, which definitely nerfs the first place item hoarding a bit. To the point where like, hey, if you get hit by a blue shell, whatever you're holding behind you, you are going to lose. You cannot hold on to that anymore. So maybe that nerf was for the better. I don't know, but me personally, I don't like that as much. But maybe that's just something I need to get used to.
By the way, what's that item that you had in one of the Mario Kart games where you can like avoid a blue shell? There was some kind of
horn?
item, wasn't it? The horn. Is that it?
Yeah,
that's
still in the game, though. Okay, I couldn't remember what it was because I never get it, but I was just curious.
I mean, you were also technically able to avoid a blue shell with a mushroom in Mario Kart 8 too, if you timed it right. I don't know if you can still do that. I haven't been able to time it.
I posted a video of me doing it in the Discord. You can still. Okay. It's actually I feel like a little bit easier in this game.
Okay, I haven't. Because honestly, I haven't been able to try it. I have noticed though sometimes items will like red shells. If you drop they'll go around items now. They're a little smarter. Like I feel like in Mario Kart 8, like if you not that you needed to, but let's say you were to drop a banana right behind you and keep driving away, it would just go in a straight line and hit it. And now it feels like it curves around stuff and will go after you, which, I mean, you don't have to let go of the banana, but I've noticed that they're a little smarter, or like if you're too close to someone, they'll, instead of just going off into the distance and like just going around the track and not hitting anybody, they'll go to the next player and hit them. So that's a decent little upgrade. I kind of agree with you there, Doom. I miss how it used to be. It also, my muscle memory is getting like mixed up because I'm used to hitting or holding the item immediately behind me, and now it's already there, so I end up hitting the button and I throw it away, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine, but I'm getting used to that. Just like the other mechanics.
Yeah, I've definitely been doing a bit of that too, especially like when I first tried out the game.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying not to like super slander stuff like how the game is built. Cause I'm like, maybe I'm just bad at it. Like maybe if I get better at it, I'll enjoy it more. So stuff like that kind of adds up to it.
I have a critique that I forgot to say, and it's very important. I don't want to forget. Go for it. Because I just watched the video that you posted, Doom, which is really cool. You avoiding those blue shells. I hate I hate that Donkey Kong like dabs. Daps,
Oh,
whatever.
no, I love that. That's
That is
awesome.
so. It is so honestly so lame. Like, dude, come on. What are we doing here? I hate it. I hate the new Donkey Kong design. I hate it. I
think the
hate everything
dabbing.
about
I think
it.
the dabbing. I think the dabbing makes up for the design that I will say. I don't want to say that nothing's gonna top the Rare design for me. I am starting to warm up a little bit more towards the new design. He does make
No.
he makes some goofy faces. I got to admit.
I think he looks better in Mario Kart than he does in Bonanza.
It's because he's
I
not
agree.
wearing pants.
No,
That's
the
why.
pants
Well, no,
are
it's-
okay. I
It's
kind
the
of
feathers.
It's the feathers, yeah. He looks like
Yeah.
the feathers in Bonanza look just awful. I don't mind the pants. I think the pants are funny. But I think he actually looks kind of decent in Mario Kart, and he does kind of have that feel of like what DK Jr. looked like in Super Mario Kart and back in the day. So I don't hate that. I've also like there are many other things going on in my life. I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna have to fine. That's how DK looks. Okay, whatever. I'll get over it. But yeah, the dab I think is kind of funny. It's so Nintendo to take something that's like not even remotely relevant anymore and they put it in their game. Like I'm waiting for someone to like floss or something in the game, like just keep adding these late 2010s, early 2020s memes into the game that are way past their expiration date. That's like very typical Nintendo though. They're always behind the ball on that stuff.
Dude, I thought somebody was going to be planking or something in Mario Kart. Like, just,
Oh yeah, but Luigi planks in Smash.
I guess
Yeah,
you're right. I guess he
right.
does.
And that years after planking was relevant, so it's like they've done that before.
I guess
Oh.
I can't argue that. Yeah.
I have one that makes me mad. How the dolphin is a character in the game and a bike, but Rob is a bike and for whatever reason can't be a character. That makes me mad. Bring back Rob. I like Rob in Mario Kart.
That
DS.
does make me mad. Rob was
Grinds my
such
gears.
an MVP in DS.
I think it's almost like 100% you are going to see those non-Nintendo characters like come in with tracks and stuff like that. Like it's almost a certainty. I would be shocked if the characters from Mario Kart 8 weren't back, and I could see like characters like Rob or I think Pac-Man was in one. Like I could
He's
see
in
those
he's in the
characters.
arcade games.
Yeah.
Pac-Man's in the arcade games.
I'm
would
surprised
actually
they
'cause
never
he's-
brought him into the console game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I've always thought that like that would be like a really hype pick actually. But yeah, he's only appeared in the arcade games,
But like
not a
Diddy Kong is not in the game right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly,
What's
like-
up with that?
Yeah. All of these characters, I think, are going to be in the game, and like, it is kind of a delicate balance. Like you're right. Like you expect all these features to be in the game for the price tag on day one, but I also do think like you do want to support and add content to the game. So maybe it does make sense to hold back some stuff. I will say this as well. Like, and people could disagree with it, but like I think there's just like there's way too many characters in this game. I'm sorry, Doom. I just like. The amount of characters that you can pick from that just don't need to be there it's outrageous. Like I had a blast racing as Penguin, but like every single enemy from Mario ever is like a playable character. But some of those ones that we talked about still aren't there, like Syrup or like Ega. It's like, what is going on?
You know what? Like I'm not gonna.
I both agree and disagree with you. But you
Yeah.
go on, Dak. You spoke
I was gonna
first.
say like there are characters that like should be in the game. Like where's Diddy Kong? Blah blah blah. On the other hand, it is Mario Kart. I don't really care who's in the game, and I think it is a funny bit to like the coin bag is a character. I think I should be able to drive as like the warp pipe, like the inanimate objects at this point. Like that's funny to me. Like I like
know
the
what?
penguin. I like the cow.
You're right.
I like the cataquack. I like the piantas.
I think
I
it's
wish
a
you could
funny
have
bit if
both.
there's one or maybe two, kind of like Piranha
No,
Plant
I
and
no.
Smash.
I don't.
Like,
I think it's only a funny bit if they go beyond that. If it's just one or two characters,
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever. Like that's why it's not that funny in Smash because you're like, oh, you waste this one slot on a Piranha Plant. But if
I
they
think
just
it's way
started,
more funny in Smash than this. Like,
I like that Piranha
guess-
Plant is in Smash, but I love that like half the roster is nonsense characters because it's Mario Kart. It's supposed to be nonsense. What I don't like is the character select screen is a travesty of user design. A user experience design. Like I don't understand who decided we're gonna make individual costumes at their own character slot in
That's
the game.
insane. Yes.
That's the worst part. I would be fine if they made the costumes just all in one slot. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
What do you think,
that's what I wanted to go into, Andy. I think that's why you hate that why you think there's too many characters, because the actual character select screen is actually atrocious. And you might think like, oh, who cares? It's a character select screen. It's the gameplay that matters. And to an extent, that's true. But like, man, I cannot stop thinking about how awfully designed this screen is, and it really does. Despite it just being a character select screen, it really does sour the experience, because if you want to pick a character, you have to scroll through pages and pages and pages just to find, the one single character that you want to play as. Why these costumes are not a sub menu, first off, is just beyond me. I don't understand how that was decided upon. But then also, all the characters are like blown up super large, so there can only be like on 12 on a page. Mario Kart 8, you were able to fit like 40, 50 characters on a page. No one had an issue with it, even on the handheld mode. It wasn't hard to see at all. But no, for some reason, everything is just so blown up. And because of that, you have to scroll through just a ridiculous amount of pages. It's truly atrocious. I don't know if that's going to get patched. I'm gonna assume it's not, but like, I really hope, if anything in this game is gonna get addressed, I honest to God hope that character select screen is one of them, because it's awful.
I just think there's too many damn characters. Like, I understand that it's like a lot of people like having more characters in a game like this doesn't take away. I don't think like it kind of does in Smash Bros. But like, I'm sorry, I really do not want to play as like random fish enemy. From
I
Mario Kart.
do. I like playing as
Maybe I'm in the
Dolphin and
minority.
Cataclack
I don't know.
and fish sticks or bone fish or fish bones or whatever. I think that's great because ultimately it's not like Smash where like, oh, now they got to come up with a character's like move set for the stupid character when it could have been someone like that deserves it more. But yeah, in this game I think it's funny. I going back to what you said earlier though, I don't like the idea of like, well, they have to keep supporting the game, so they're gonna resell us or re-give us stuff, keep giving us stuff. But they took away things just to give it back to us. Like, we're gonna eventually get 200cc, even though we had it already. We're gonna get a bunch of these tracks most likely that we already had. We're gonna get these characters back, like Diddy Kong, or whatever, that we already had. I wish it was like, okay, give us those things at the beginning and then come out with new stuff. Give us new tracks we didn't have, new characters we didn't have, new features we didn't have. 250cc or whatever it is, right? Like, give us a battle royale mode in free roam or stuff like that. I was actually happy that mirror mode is in the game, even though it's like an absolute PETA to get it apparently, but fine. But I don't like the idea of like, oh, they're going to keep the game supported by putting stuff back into the game. It should be new stuff. They should be at like Mario Kart World in that way does feel like a downgrade, especially with all the tracks that were in Mario Kart 8. And now I can't even play them in Mario Kart World. But they're gonna do me the generosity of reselling them back to me at a later time or waiting for another download so that they can get their numbers back up. Screw that. Like, I should already be able to play 200cc at the very least. I should already be able to. The game doesn't even have tournaments online. A super basic, horrible feature that wasn't even good in Mario Kart 8. But it doesn't even have that in the game. Like, why? I don't understand. So we can take pictures in free roam? I guess. I don't know.
Mario Kart Tour, the damn mobile game, had 200cc available from day one. You're telling me they couldn't put that in Mario Kart World? I'm sorry, that's just egregious to me.
And on that note, I feel like now we're just on a Mario Kart World hater cast, because I do have to say that I am disappointed that the online experience for the game is like identical to Mario Kart 8. I mean, it's been 8 years and it's the exact same rating system, exact same mode stuff. There's nothing new. The spectator mode is the same, if not worse. Like, that kind of stuff, it's like they didn't even try. They didn't even try to improve on it or change it up or anything like that. I was very disappointed in seeing that. I was like, oh, I was hoping for maybe like a fresher, cooler spectator mode or a new matchmaking system or new tournaments or something, something new. And it's like, ah, man, like they didn't even bother to try because they know people are going to buy it anyway. I don't know. I wish there was a better approach to that as well.
I want to say I still am really enjoying this game. Like, I know
Me too.
I have a lot of criticisms. Like, there's definitely some stuff that definitely grinds my gears, to put it in a family-friendly terminology. But at the end of the day, I'm still really enjoying it. I'm not going to stop playing this game anytime soon.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. These are just like the parts about it that I've been playing it a bunch that I notice, oh, this doesn't work for me. This could be better. It's certainly still a good game. I will say I'm still not enjoying it as much as Mario Kart 8, but
yeah,
I think maybe we have to acknowledge though that like Mario Kart
it's a
8
new
was
game.
just this incredibly exceptional Mario Kart game.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean?
100%.
Like that. That's a high bar to match for Mario Kart 8. Like as someone that's not a Mario Kart fan, I was like, man, this game is awesome. You know?
Yeah, and I respect that they weren't just trying to do like more Mario Kart 8. Like they were trying to change the Mario Kart experience even down to like the fundamental gameplay and like make how you actually play the game different. I respect that. I don't want to be like this game is worse, it's a downgrade. It's just so far not my personal preference of like what I enjoy out of a Mario Kart game.
Yeah.
And I think, I just have to enjoy it for what it is and warm up to it. And I'm sure the more I play, I'll be like, oh, this is actually, a new unique experience that I wasn't getting in Mario Kart 8, which in many ways it is, and find enjoyment out of that. And if not, I can always play Mario Kart 8, just like I can play all the other older Mario Kart games. So I definitely don't want to be like, oh, this game is bad. It's because it's not. It's a great game. There are certainly aspects about it that like 200cc not being in the game that I think are objectively bad, but in terms of like the fundamental aspects of the game and like the totality of it being fun, it certainly is fun and it's certainly a good game. And I'm glad that I have it.
Yeah, and for me, like, man, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm totally blanking.
How about this? I'm gonna say something here.
You go.
I think like everything you guys have critiqued is 100% valid, and I agree with it. But I also think that like maybe let's call it, I don't know, a good 50% of your Mario Kart audience is a type of player like me that's like pretty casually into Mario Kart, and they're just gonna be like, free roam is really cool. Like I was able to schmuck around for 30 minutes, and like that's really fun. And honestly, like that's as fun, if not funner to me than racing. Is just like kind of driving around. Like I do think that like it is cool that this game tried to do something a little bit different, and I think that is really going to appeal to like the player like me that's more casual, less focused on like the mechanics, and just kind of wants to like, for lack of a better term, like vibe, drive around and
it's great.
I think it's well above 50%. I think it's more like 80% of like your average Mario.
I would say you're in the. I think you're in very much the majority for sure.
Yeah.
But I remember what I was gonna say though, and it's like I love the concept of Mario Kart World, and I think again with some fixes and even a couple of minor tweaks here and there, this concept could be fully realized and could be absolutely incredible. But there are some things holding it back. Some things that I think genuinely just were oversight in the development. Other things that I think are inexcusable, like 200cc and the character select menu. But overall, as a concept, I think Mario Kart World is still, at the end of the day, incredibly ambitious, and I would like to see this done right, because I do think that there is a scenario where this concept is executed, and it does top 8 Deluxe for me.
There's a lot of stuff that Mario Kart World does really well. I mean, first of all, the soundtrack is like, phenomenal. There are multiple times I've been playing the game like, what? Like, this is so good.
Have you heard the Dire Ducks theme in this game?
Yes.
It's like the most romantic theme. Like, it's just like,
I love like
jazz.
some of the smooth jazz and like the piano, like the guitar riffs on some of them. Though I will say it does kind of tilt me a little bit when I hear an amazing remix of a theme from a track in a previous game that's not in the game anymore, like the Baby Park one. I'm like, I wish I could be listening to this on Baby Park. That kind of stuff is great. I think free roam is great. I was having fun last night trying to get mirror mode, getting all the Peach medallions. Like some of those missions, some of the medallions are a little bit of a challenge. You kind of have to go a few times and get them. And moments where you're just like cruising out into, the map and trying to find another medallion. I love that you can fast travel, which is great. But then you can fast travel, and then like I was fast traveling around, then like, I'm gonna take the scenic route, and I drove all the way to Peach Beach, like all the way across that sandbar, and was driving like going around the water, and there are like these big like water spouts and like tornadoes and dolphins going around, and the dinosaurs over in the middle of the map. Like it's really good. It's a fun time. I wish there's a little more with it, but I'm having a great time with it. I love the addition of free roam. I wish they added 2-player split screen local free roam.
Oh, that'd
That
be
I
fun.
wish that should have been a no-brainer though, right?
That'd be fun.
Because I am you mentioned this earlier, Dak, but I also am not a fan of like the new Grand Prix mode. Like, because to me, and I'm don't worry, I'm going to turn this into a positive later, but I have to talk about this first to give context. But like, I'm not a fan of how Grand Prix, because like it gives you like the individual tracks just like you would on like previous games, but it's like, oh, I'm going to Airship Fortress now, but I'm not actually racing Airship Fortress. I'm doing a bunch of nonsense and BS for 2 laps, and then for the final lap, I'm finally doing Airship Fortress, which that's like one of my all-time favorite Mario tracks. I want to do a 3-lap around Airship Fortress. Heck, I wouldn't even mind doing like 5 or 6 laps, but like at least give me that 3-lap option for the Grand Prix. So not a fan of that, but I do think Knockout Tour, though, is where that open world design really does start to come in handy, because it does. I really do how it kind of almost feels like an extended Mount Wario, but like it kind of has this old school N64 gauntlet theme meets like Mount Wario from like Mario Kart 8, where you're really going from point A to point B, and there's all this chaos happening in between. And so I feel like the open world design really does benefit Knockout Tour more than Grand Prix. And then to what we were just talking about now, I was actually really surprised how much I enjoyed the free roam. I actually just started playing today about an hour before we started recording. I finally 3-starred both Grand Prix and Knockout Tour, so I figured I'd try out a little bit of free roam mode, and yeah, I thought I was going to be disappointed that there is not like a story mode or something, which I do still think that it could have benefited from a story mode. But even just like, just exploring the world, doing the challenges and finding all these collectibles, I don't know, there's something that just that scratches a really nice itch on my brain. So I really enjoyed what they did there.
It definitely gives me the vibes of like the Diddy Kong Racing Adventure mode when you're
Yeah.
like going around looking for like the golden balloons and whatnot, and
Yeah,
like
totally.
driving around random little areas and bumping into trees and trying to turn around, and
I've really been missing
that was great.
Yeah, like that
Yeah,
to
that
me
was
is
that
like
was really nice.
so fun. Like and just makes me like very very nostalgic almost in a way for that playing free roam. But
100%.
in terms of like the mechanics though, like I do agree. Like there's some things that could be added. It probably should be, and it will be added, I would imagine. But I don't know. Like for me, just more casual. Like I can't say I'm not having like a fun time just like playing Mario Kart World. I will say like I do wish again that the Switch had maybe launched with like this game and like a big single player game that
I
went
think it
with
should have launched with Bonanza. I think it really should have, because they were totally. I get like, oh, they didn't want to like maybe cannibalize their own sales, but if anything, I felt like people are itching to have more
Yeah.
to play with, you know.
I think like Mario Kart's gonna be fine no matter what, no matter when it comes
Yeah.
out. Like I do, and like I would say that like there's a pretty significant portion of Nintendo's audience that is like single player focused like me. And like yes, it's awesome like playing like your Switch 1 games at higher frame rate and stuff like that, but you kind of want to play a new game for the new specifically designed for the new console when you buy it. So I would have liked to see that launch with it, but I can't say that I've really been disappointed by Mario Kart or anything like that with the Switch 2. It felt very matter of fact, and like I said, kind of put a bow on it. Like that's probably due to like what the Switch 2 is. It's not the complete quantum leap that the Switch from the Wii U was. It's very much just like an upgrade over what we already had, and I think that's fine. I think it's what it needed to be, but it did make it a little bit just more like almost like another day at the office kind of thing, which hey is okay.
I don't think Dak will agree with me on this, but like to me, like Mario Kart World almost, and I almost is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. It almost feels like Halo Infinite to me, where like that game to me felt like 2 steps forward, 2 steps backward, and that's kind of where Mario Kart World is with me right now. Which at the end of the day, like it hasn't advanced any for me, so at the end of the day, I'm still enjoying it, but I'm definitely missing a lot of those steps backwards, and I'm wondering like, was that really necessary to make those 2 steps forward?
I definitely agree to an extent, but I think Mario Kart World is a way better sequel of a Mario Kart game than Halo Infinite is of a Halo game. So I'll give it that. And I'm certainly enjoying Mario Kart World a lot more than I ever enjoyed Halo Infinite.
I definitely agree with that.
And I like Cow, and I like Penguin, and I like Cataquack, and I like Piante.
I did complete a cup as the penguin.
I would like Cataquack if I unlocked him. Unfortunately,
I don't have Cataquack yet. I've been trying.
I'm trying to unlock Cataquack, but it's like, I don't want to be.
What the hell is Cataquack?
I don't want to be negative.
It's the little
Mario
duck things
Sunshine.
from Super Mario Sunshine, like the things that flip you up into the air.
They're all over Peach Beach.
Yeah, they're the Peach Beach enemy. You know,
Yeah.
This guy. How many Nintendo podcasts do you have? You don't know what the
okay.
Cataquack is. Okay,
Well, Jesus,
come on.
I don't know the Cataquack's name. Like it's the little
Everybody knows
the
who
little
Cataquacks
gimmick
are.
thing that flips you.
Yeah. I don't want to be any more negative about the game. I do want to start saying more positive stuff, but I do have to say, man, I don't like the way you unlock these random NPCs. I wish there was another way so that it wasn't so RNG based. I've only unlocked 4 so far of the 10 or 15 hours I've played so far, and it really is, you just kind of have to get lucky and have someone spawn a Kamek on you, and then you have to get lucky and make sure that you actually turn into something that you haven't unlocked yet. And sometimes Kamek will fly past me and I just won't even transform for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. But
I don't really mind it too much because, like, eventually I'll get all the characters. I kind of miss kart customization. I miss like picking my glider and my wheels with the body, and now it's just a cart. I'm like, yeah, okay, I guess that's fine.
I really miss that, honestly. I'm kind of glad.
I missed it a little bit.
I'm totally okay without that.
Yeah,
No, I don't know. I feel like it's been in the games for a while now. It's like
I
it's fun
feel like
to be able
that's
to
a feature for
mess
like,
around with
people that
different
are-
builds.
Well, yeah, that's it. Like, I think if you're into like the racing mechanics, not the party so much. Like,
God
that's a
forbid,
good feature.
I like the racing of a racing game. God forbid.
I know, but I mean, I think there was probably some people that were just like, this is too much. Like, I just want to play. I just want to pick a card.
Here's the thing.
Go.
I do like the racing too, and I'm like someone who will like always be like watching YouTube videos to see like where the meta is and where the stats are and whatnot. But at the same time, like at the end of the day, a lot of those Mario Kart 8 combos just I thought they just look really dumb. Like for a long time, it was like Biddy Bug with like the baby roller wheels, and it's like I don't want to drive that, but you have to if you want to play, if you want to do top level play. That's where the meta is, because it's got the midi turbo, it's got the acceleration, and that's what matters in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So I'm kind of glad that it's a little bit narrower and there's a little bit more flexibility, at least right now. Obviously, that's gonna change as the game develops and whatnot. And of course, balance patches are probably gonna happen as well. But I prefer that, at least. I don't know. I do want to start talking more positively though. I want to get back to the music, because oh my god, holy crap, this music is incredible. This is one of the best Nintendo soundtracks ever made. If someone came up to me and said Mario Kart World is the best music that Nintendo's ever put out, I'd be like, yeah, that's valid. That makes sense. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. I wrote down a few. We don't have to go over all of them, but like a few that stuck out to me. I love the ska Mario Brothers 3 athletic theme that plays in the menu. I don't know if any of you have encountered that one yet, but that one again, like really hitting those Tony Hawk vibes with the ska music. And so didn't expect to hear ska in a Mario Kart game, but like it really just resonated with me. So I loved that. The Wario Stadium theme. I already love the new arrangement for the Royal Raceway in Mario Kart 8, which uses the same music. I love the new one for Wario Stadium even more. I thought that's fantastic. Obviously, Airship Fortress. It was pretty much exactly what I thought it would sound like, and it's perfect. I got a few others. The Mario 1 Underground theme is really killer in this game with like the electric guitars, and I love how it like goes into double time during, it's either the third or the fourth measure, I can't remember, but like I really love that little double time that it does at the end. The Mario 64 file select, oh my god, this is the one that caught me by surprise, even more than Dire Dire Docks. Because like one thing that's I really enjoy about the music is because all of these tracks will start playing like in the main menu, and it almost kind of feels like a guess that tune to some degree, where it's like you're listening to it and it's like, I wonder what this is from, and then eventually like you'll hear that, you know, a melody or like a chorus kick in, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's where it's from. And sometimes it'll be something that you expect, and sometimes it'll be some sort of deep cut or just something that you weren't expecting at all. And that Mario 64 file select screen with that little acoustic guitar in the background, that just sent me. Absolutely love that.
I feel like I've really enjoyed the music. I haven't like jotted down, I guess, specifically like what I've liked. But I definitely heard like a Bomb Battlefield remix, which I thought was really fun. There was the Dire Docks, which I thought was great. There's definitely been some music that I recognize from other Mario Kart games that I can't put my finger on. But yeah, I would say the music has been really strong so far. Like the music for me is like it's pretty much the same as Smash Bros. Like you're always going to hear like such good like new tracks or reinterpretations of old tracks that it's hard to miss on a game like this. And Worlds is up to the task, I feel like.
I agree with that. I think there's some phenomenal stuff in Mario Kart World. It's probably one of the best like sounding Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Coming from Mario Kart 8, which was all itself one of the best sounding Nintendo games, for them to like almost top that is pretty phenomenal.
I keep on wanting to call it Mario Kart Worlds. You probably just noticed me slip up there, and I think it's because Monster Hunter Worlds was a thing for so long. I
see that.
I can't stop doing it here, guys. I'm sorry. Any other I guess like kind of notes that you wanted to go over about Mario Kart World before we move on?
Let's see. We already talked about the.
I feel like I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah.
I will say, Koopa Troopa Beach is an N64 track, but in this game, the track that they are referring to as Koopa Troopa Beach is actually Koopa Beach 1 from Super Mario Kart on the SNES. So that slightly annoys me, especially because I prefer Koopa Troopa Beach. But whatever. That's another piece of music that is absolutely fire as well. So that makes up for it.
I'll have to tell them that they goofed up.
Yeah, fake Mario Kart fans they have over at Nintendo.
Come on, read a book, would you, before you name your tracks? Yeah. You know what? I don't have anything else really to add about Mario Kart World. I'm enjoying it so far, but I figured that I probably would. And I would say the same thing about the Switch too. Just as in general, like I'm really just liking the up. For me, it was as much about having an upgraded Switch, because my Switch was so old and so decrepit. So I'm really enjoying that. I think I'm probably going to pick up Cyberpunk actually and give that a whirl now that everything's kind of like fixed and stuff like that. I got a new TV on the way as well, so I'm going to be ready for Metroid Prime 4 whenever it comes. So pretty positive experience, I would say, with the first week of the Nintendo Switch 2. There were definitely some weird people still upset about some of the practices that Nintendo chose to implement, and fair enough. But other than that, it feels like a pretty successful console launch, to be honest. I haven't heard like as many, or really honestly like any horror stories of anything gone like horribly wrong, other than maybe a few Switches canceled here and there. But yeah, I'm really liking it so far.
Yeah, the Switch 2, I mean, it's not very exciting, I'd say, but like it's what I expected, and what I expected, as I said before, is exactly what I wanted. So I'm incredibly happy with it.
You know, for me, I think it is exciting because at the end of the day, I wanted a stronger Switch 2. I wanted the Switch Pro, and I got it. You know, I didn't need this gimmick carrot to be dangled in front of me. I was like, give me a stronger system that plays the games better, that feels better in my hands, that has better features, has backwards compatibility, and has all those things. That in and of itself is exciting to me. So I'm excited about it.
There it is. All right.
I would say once Metroid Prime 4 gets here, I think I'll be especially excited.
Totally.
Let's bring it back to that. Metroid Prime 4 needs to come out yesterday.
Yeah. I think there's a good chance it comes out in November now, because like now that Pokemon is coming out in October, like
I think 100% it's a November game.
And 100%. that's a good slot for it. Like if it wasn't going to launch, that's probably the best place it could be.
That's also, so we haven't talked about this yet, but Piggyback Games, who is doing that Metroid Prime trilogy kind of like art booklet that they're doing, it was originally supposed to come out in a couple of weeks from now, but they delayed it to the end of October, and so a lot of people are wondering like, oh, is that a sign of things coming? I'm not really willing to put the Samus's percentage meter on that yet, whether or not that guide does have an influence, but not gonna lie, I might be swayed.
Yeah, I don't know that it does, but it's maybe not nothing. The Zelda movie was also delayed today, guys.
Oh no!
Yes, can you believe it?
Not the Zelda movie.
I think it was delayed by like a couple months, if you can believe it. Now it's launching in sometime later 2027. You wouldn't believe the amount of
I thought it
people
was-
on the Zelda cast that asked me, like, oh my god, now that the Zelda movie has a release date, like, what does this mean? I was like, it means nothing, because this is going to change like 10 times before this movie ever comes
They
out.
needed some more time to finalize Tom Holland's contract.
I was
Don't-
gonna say,
don't bring
it's
that
only,
into the world.
it's only been delayed by 2 months.
Well,
Like, it was supposed to come out March 26th, and now it's coming out May 7th of 2027. So, like, it's literally being delayed less than 2 months.
there you go. That's,
I don't think that means anything.
That's the time that they need to make it really, take that Rotten Tomatoes score from down here to up here. So there you go. All right, well, those are our Nintendo Switch 2 first impressions. Let us know what you think. Let us know over on Discord. Come and hang out with us. And maybe we'll have to get like a Mario Kart night or an F-Zero night or a
Yes,
Soul
let's do
Calibur
it.
night. Maybe all three. I don't know. But yeah, we'll
do it.
definitely have to get that done. All right, well, we are going to get out of here. Of course, we do want to encourage everybody to head over to OmegaMetroid.com. We got news, we got guides, we got maps, we got lots and lots and lots of stuff if you are a Metroid fan, so come and check us out. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well if you ever want to see these podcasts and look at our faces as we are recording these. And of course, wherever you get your podcasts, go like, subscribe, recommend, rate, review, all that jazz. If you do have a Metroid fan in your life, tell them where they can get their weekly Metroid fix. I do want to remind everybody, over on patreon.com/SBNet, we do have the Great Metroid Area Ranking. And if you are a nerd like me, we are debuting Middle Earth, the podcast, later this month, which is, as it sounds, a show all about Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion, Hobbit, all that kind of stuff, the entire Legendarium, so go and check that out. And we've only got like 3 episodes of the Great Metroid Area Ranking left to do before it's finished, so now is a good time to jump in. And lastly, give us a follow wherever you are over on Blue Sky. We're at Omega Metroid, at Spateri316, at Doom Cross, and at Dax City. And I think, my friends, that is going to do it for us. So everybody enjoy your Switch 2s. Let us know what you think over in Discord, and we'll see you back here next week. Ciao.